Oi guys, welcome to VALORANT News. The playoffs are getting underway around the world. The Americas and the European side kicks off today. Big results upcoming, but the Chinese side caused lots of controversy yesterday with Wolves officially eliminated from World Championship qualification. Lots of reaction from Zellsis and others to this major development, but FNS says that the state of the Chinese scene right now is simply not interesting for multiple reasons, and these teams are very unlikely to contend, it seems, again when we get to the World Championship. Very much intro to your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I greatly appreciate it. Big thanks to PrizePicks as well, supporting the content this season. If you guys want to get involved in daily fantasy for either the Valorant playoffs or multiple other sports and esports, this is the place to be. We've got Cloud9 versus Leviathan this evening to start things off, and then of course we've got G2 versus 100 Thieves and big games. If you want to get involved, play responsibly if you choose to. Link in the top line of the description. Download the app, use code BreakingPoint, and claim $50 on your first $5 pick. This also from Valorant. Riot, please show us the champion skin, says Valin, and they say coming soon. So what's it going to be? Is it going to be a Vandal as we saw in 23? Is it going to be a Phantom as I think we saw last year? What are they going to cook up for this season? Is it going to be an Operator? What's the knife going to look like? It's pretty interesting. All I do know is it's going to be expensive, right? Because that's how it was before, and that's probably how it is going to be again. Some big games going down last night in the Tier 2 side as well. There's a big tournament right now in Challenges to try and qualify for Ascension, and T-Dog, he got to the #1 position in the Pro City rankings. So, yeah, this is the current Pro City leaderboard. T-Dog got his MMR up to 1630. That's the #1 spot. Kesnid in second, Oxy in third, Mazzino in fourth, Alim in fifth. And we'll talk about this player here in just a second because he may well be starting to make some serious waves in terms of getting into the league in the near future. And let's talk about it. So QOR versus Nightblood Gaming, big game last night, upper quarterfinals. QOR get the win, and Alim goes 60 in 35 on the Neon, both maps. He plays the Neon on the Corrode, which is seen to be fair, and they won this one 15-13. I mean, I love, what a great team, by the way. What a composition. We've got Neon Chamber, like we've got a KO, a Fade and an Omen. Like, that to me is sensational team composition. Like, if you're going to throw a Neon and a Chamber on the same team, I will be there. And well, it worked out well. They did win it. It was a 15-13 banger overtime in the end. And then the Lotus, they won as well, 13-9. Alim again was on the Neon, 26-17. So yeah, the guy was out of control from Kyrgyzstan, and well, 60-35 for the win. Logan was also having a good series on the Chamber and then the Vise. So yeah, Noted had a pretty difficult time on the Clove. Probably a good reason we're not seeing too much Clove in recent times. Qubit Academy then 2-0'd the Box of Rockets, and this was, for the first time in some time, I would say, an absolute demolition job for Redux, right? Let's not forget, before the season began, Redux was considered insane mechanical talent coming into effectively Sentinels, right? Like, he was their sub. There was a theory that when he was 18 and old enough to play, they were going to drop Zellsis for him, right? Remember that being talked about before the season began. But over the last few months, he's been good for sure, but he's not been spectacular, carrying the team every series. So like, damn, this guy's got to be in the Pro League. I'm surprised Sen aren't putting him in or whatever. That was a conversation we thought that we might have about, you know, let's say a couple of months ago this year, that, well, Redux is killing it on Qubit, Sen aren't really, you know, doing all that hard. Of course, it turned out the Sentinels are doing very well, so no reason to make a change. But even if Sentinels were to have considered a change, it wouldn't be obvious that Redux was the man to put in, because it's not like he was having an absolute demolition job season down in Challenges. But he has had a mega series yesterday, right? So against T-Dog, the #1 ranked player in Pro City, Redux drops 51-27 over 2 maps, 13-10 on the Icebox, 26-13 on the Omen, and then he runs the Euro for another 13-10 win. This time is 25-14. So yeah, this was the Redux show. There were some crazy moments here as well. I mean, look at this play. This was absolutely outrageous, to be honest, on the Marshall. Gets the second, gets the third, gets the fourth in a second, and then closes out with a disgusting ace on the Sacred as well. So if Redux keeps playing like that, they could well beat Envy again. They play Envy in the next round. That game's coming up in about a week, though, because, well, the next part of these matches happen in several days' time. Winthrop versus QOR, and then the losers bracket games are also locked in. So these guys have plenty of time to prepare for their next games, and as we said yesterday, the winner of this tournament qualifies guaranteed for Ascension. Let's talk about the other regions though, because some big results going down. NRG are running their, well, tier list, let's say, of the different colours of the respective team, that I thought was pretty interesting. This is the European side. This kicks underway today. Fnatic BBL, Giant.X Na'Vi. Those are the two games of today. The winner of Fnatic BBL plays Team Heretics. We know that Fnatic have already qualified for the World Championship. Elsewhere, though, it's very much more precarious. A lot of other teams can still make it. We'll discuss China in a second, but just to quickly look at the European side, Fnatic have done it. Heretics are at 14. They're going to do it. Liquid are at 12. Very unlikely they don't do it. But apart from that, it's kind of all to play for, right? Na'Vi at 6, even KC at 5. All of these teams can still qualify based on points accrued, but many of them, certainly Giant.X, they basically need to at least make the finals or whatever if they're going to do it, and that's not going to happen, right? But the other teams could still potentially make it. We'll get back to the Chinese side in a second, but that's what's happening over there. But let's do the Chinese region, because some big results yesterday. Bilibili Gaming, they take down Tyloo in a 2-1, and just the general feeling around China right now is it's just a bit of a, I don't want to say precarious, but it's just a little bit confusing, right? Because every international tournament, they seem to have a new team that plays well going into it. But then when they get to the international, it doesn't work out. Now, as we know, Edward Gaming are the reigning world champions. Yes, they've gone through loads of drama this season. Simon, obviously bringing in Jenny, then Jenny was gone, and they brought in ZJC, and then he was gone, they brought Jenny back in. Like, it's been an absolute mess, as we know, loads of drama as well. Doesn't seem like Kang's having a great time in that team right now. And look, that's the champion's curse. But there was a feeling that after Edward won champs that the region was really going to kick on. Doesn't really feel like that's happened. The quality of the play, the mistakes that we see, Tyloo beat Bilibili game 2, then Bilibili won the decider 13-5 in the end. So they're guaranteed to the World Championship. This, though, was a huge game. XLG versus Dragon Ranger Gaming. Now, worthy of note here, XLG, they look pretty good to qualify for the World Championship. Now, there are some Ascension implications here, right? Because XLG, they qualified. DRG, they made it through from Ascension as well. Both of these guys are guest teams. So one of them, if they both make champions, my point is, if they both make it to the World Championship, not both of them can stay next year. So whoever places lowest out of these two at the World Championship will then go to Ascension to fight for their spot again. So it's kind of a big deal that XLG lost this, because they would have really liked DRG to not win it, not make it to the World Championship, and therefore ensure that XLG get to keep their spots guaranteed for next season. But in this case, even if they make it to champs, there's no guarantees that they will keep their spot for next year based on who potentially outplaces the other. So it's all kind of complicated. But DRG took the game 1, XLG took the game 2, then DRG took the game 3 on the sunset 13-5. So that was a big result though, because with that win for DRG, it eliminated Wolves. And again, it's one of the reasons why the region is just kind of confusing, because how did Wolves go? Trace Esports, right? They turned up to the first event of the year. They weren't great, but they looked pretty good domestically. Wolves were one of the surprise packages of Toronto. They made a very deep run of the tournament, and it felt kind of inevitable that they would make it to the World Championship as well. But they're not going to be there. They came back there at a stinker stage, and yeah, they've not made it because DRG took that win, which means that Wolves, in terms of points, are simply out of the picture. Zellsis, understandably, was pretty sad about it. We know those guys get along well, and it is kind of sad to see it unfold as it has done. But it's not like Wolves deserved to make it, because they just didn't play well enough. So this is what the championship standings look like as a result of that. Bilibili are at 16, they've qualified. XLG at 13 now, DRG at 13, Edward at 13, DRG at 10, and Tyloo and All Gamers. So DRG, because they've, basically outplaced Wolves and have more points, Wolves now can no longer make it based on what's just happened. Tyloo and All Gamers could still knock out those teams, though, if they were to make it to the finals. They can't score enough points, but if they make the finals, they can do it. Now, I will just quickly say, I think it's plausible that whatever happens in this series, which is currently ongoing, so Edward are currently playing Tyloo, and, they won the game 13-3 on the Haven. The Ascent is 7-8 right now, so, yeah, we'll see if Tyloo can make a comeback here and potentially take the series all the way. But even if Tyloo do manage to beat Edward Gaming, I still think Edward should make it anyway, right? Because if we look at the numbers here, Tyloo and All Gamers, they can't both make it, right? Because they're both in the losers bracket. So it's impossible for both of those teams to make it to the finals and both qualify as a finalist. So as a result, only one of those teams can qualify, so it means only one of them can displace one of the others. So I think whatever happens, Edward Gaming are going to make it anyway. It's DRG who still have to be a little concerned, but yeah, Wolves are not going to be going any further. So very much interested your thoughts on all of this stuff in the comments below. I'll just share what FNS had to say therefore on the state of affairs in China and why he just doesn't feel like that region is especially interesting to watch and doesn't really have the strength in depth to be a serious contender on the global stage right now.
Start watching Chinese Valorant, bro. It's not something that's interesting to me at all right now. If there are teams in China besides like one or two that like are genuinely interesting and like make a mark on the world stage, then I will start watching Chinese Valorant. In Americas, think about it. In all the regions, you have teams that are actual known, like well-proven rosters, except China. China, you have very few of them. You don't have zero, but you have like maximum 3 or 4. In Americas, you have like 6. You have like 6 in EMEA. You have a lot in Pacific. In Americas, okay, every single org in Americas and every single iteration of most rosters has done something on an international stage at one point or another, even 100 Thieves. So, okay, I said most. I said most, not C9. Outside of C9, Furia, 2G, and I think there's one more I'm missing. The other 8 are like fun to watch. Obviously, I'm from Americas too, so I have like an obvious connection to them, but still, it's actually fun to watch. Whereas in China, again, there's 2 to 3 teams, and then everybody else seems kind of like it's so top heavy is what it feels like. Pacific and NA are best regions. EMEA is very good too. I think EMEA is fun to watch, especially for playoffs. I don't think EMEA is that great to watch in the regular season, but playoffs, it's all interesting to watch.
This is the bracket in the Americas. These games get underway this evening. As I said at the start of the video, 2 big games. Lev played Cloud9. Are we going to see playoffs Cloud9 come out in full force, or will Lev manage to take the win with a good uptick that they seem to have seen from Sato in recent times? The winner of that plays Sentinels in a couple of days, and then G200 Thieves. Really important game, right? Because G2 already get champion, so are Sentinels. 100T, they desperately need this win. They desperately need the championship points. And look, 100T, NRG, all of these teams, they can still qualify. Beating G2 would be a major step. Are they going to do it? Unlikely, but we think G2 are going to play with Baby Bay still, which does raise some interesting questions going into the World Championship, but it's not like they're a slat with Baby Bay and that they need Leaf to be good, because absolutely not. They've been very solid with Baby Bay as well, but 100 Thieves have a massive task on their hands here, and if they win that, they'll play NRG in the next round. So very much interested in your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new as always. Thanks to Prize Picks, and I'll see you next time.